Joined by the man who made it all possible, Pep Guardiola. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Monday Night Football studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
We spoke to you a couple of weeks ago when you actually eventually got your hands on the trophy on the pitch, and you talked about this being the hardest trophy to win. Has that made it also the most satisfying for you?
One of the most, but when I am from Barcelona, so it's my club, and win the first league in Barcelona was also so special. It's something okay. We did it. Now I have that feeling as well. So okay, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but always we'll remember all together. So we did it. We did it here in England.
And why did you think it was going to be so hard here?
Especially for the contenders. You know, when you are in Barcelona and Bayern Munich, the people expect, you know, you have to win. But in Manchester City, you never know. We don't have the history in our back like other important teams. Here, the contenders. So the 5-6 top teams are really tough. When you review the distance of the cup, we did it, and thinking about do it again, so it will not be impossible. So you're thinking 25 points Liverpool, or I don't know, all the clubs. So it's unreal. And the weather condition, the amount of games, many circumstances is quite different than Germany and Spain.
Well, it's certainly going to be hard to match what you achieved this year, but we saw those incredible scenes in Manchester on the bus parade. Just tell us, Pep, as a serial winner, why these moments are so important, to actually take the time to celebrate with the fans and with the team.
Well, this parade is nice because you see the faces of the people who love you. The kids, the old men, old women, and you see the faces, how happy they are. And that's enough. So we play for the titles, of course, but to make our people happy, or the people who's neutral and enjoy watching football and say, okay, we enjoy this season watching your team playing, so that's enough.
Well, you'll know that Gary won plenty of Premier League titles, I think 8 in all. Is it important, Gary, to actually stop and reflect on what you've actually achieved?
It's difficult to do so, but when you've won the league early, like obviously Manchester City have, you have the opportunity to celebrate more than if it's right at the very end. And you should always celebrate winning a title, because it is the measure of a great team, to win it over a full season. I was actually in Manchester yesterday and had to leave the city early to get away from all the celebrations. There were thousands of, obviously, City fans in there, and the football this season has been wonderful. Painful for a Red, but you have to respect what you've seen, and it's been the most incredible performance. And
it's been really interesting, Pep, the fact that having won the title, you didn't stop, that you went on in pursuit of, it seemed like you were in pursuit of these records, and this was the final, the gloss on it, I suppose, the goal that made it 100 points. Was that a target that you set the players, having won the title?
So, play for nothing. Once you achieve your main target is win the Premier League, and don't play for nothing, you're going to drop points. And that helps us to maintain our, you know, consistency, focus on, okay, try it. If we don't try, nothing happened. But in that moment, the game was so tight against Southampton. We didn't expect we were going to score, but this season is going, everything went well in the Premier League. If you repeat the same guys, the same ideas, the same people, the same players, again, it would have not been possible to do it again.
And you have to get used to being called the Centurions now.
Yeah.
You've been called the record breakers already. It's incredible how many records have been tumbling. These are the Premier League tallies that have gone this season, taken by Manchester City. And just to reflect, the first team in top division history to reach 100 points and win 32 games as well. But it's not just that, Pep, that people are talking about, not just these numbers. But which of those is most significant for you, do you think?
Well, 100 points is a lot. So always I believe the records in all sports always will be break. Sooner or later I think that's going to happen, but of course will not be easy. They have to win 32 games or 33. It's a lot of points. So especially here in England, That's why we are so proud.
Do you think that one's set in stone for a while, 100 points?
I don't think it will be reached for a long time, because the big thing is to win the title early is a big achievement, but then to continue to keep winning. There was a little dip against Huddersfield, but every other game has been a high standard. You know, Swansea, West Ham, those games, you're thinking the players might just dip a little bit. They didn't dip. They kept on going and producing the same level and standards, which is difficult. You know, I've been there. We've won it 5-6 games to go, and the players just relax. You're not playing for anything. You've won the league already, but they kept on going, and in the end, right to the very end.
And you did it your way as well, Pep, which I know is really important to you, breaking other records. Let's just show you these. Since Opta started recording the statistics, we'll highlight possession, 72%, more than anyone else before. Passing accuracy, 89%. The number of successful passes per game as well, and also low. Shots faced per game, just 6.2. This is what Gary had to say, Pep, when we talked about whether you could actually win the title playing this way. This is from last season.
It would defy Premier League logic of what I've always thought, that having to wade through those winter months, those horrible games that we know exist, and can you win a league playing that way? I've always thought every team that's won the league, barring none, have always had power and strength at the heart of them, that spine. Even going back to the City teams who've won it over the last 5-6 years. You think of Company, Lescott in that first season, Yaya Toure, De Jong, Barry, you know, obviously Guerrero up front, stocky, strong, can get through things, obviously has had injuries. I just wonder whether he can play that way, and that's the fascinating thing in this next 12 months. Can he play that way with those players and win this league?
That was the big question. It was answered.
I mean, that was for me. I said last season, because obviously the first season had difficulties. Did you ever have any doubts about whether you could win the league with small, diminutive players, which you've had, you know, Sané, Sterling, Aguero, Jesus, De Bruyne, Silva, Fernandinho? None of them really what would be powerful players. At Bayern Munich, you had Muller and Lewandowski, who were strong players. Did you ever have any doubts about whether you could do it that way?
Yeah, of course, always when you start, you have doubts if you are able to win or not win. Always you have doubts. Yeah. But when sometimes some periods of the games are not going well, you think, okay, what do you have to change? It's not always the same. Football, it depends the moment, the quality of the players. But when we reflect with our people, said what we have to do to change the way, so we believe so much. We believe a lot with the way we want to play. I said many times. So last season, even no, not this season, last season, when Leicester defeat or some defeats when we were not good, the people said, do you believe we can do it? So I don't know. But I'm not going to change because I believe in what we do. And it's the only way. But I think all the managers around the world believe exactly what they have to do. When, for example, Claudio Ranieri wins the Premier League with Leicester, it's a completely different way to play. They won because he believes, or the team, Leicester teams believe completely what they do. All the teams, they won the Premier League, all the titles, is because the managers, the players are fully, convinced that is the best way to win. And the football is not just one way to win the titles. It's only okay. The manager has an idea, try to convince the players to try to do it. And because now the people say, oh, this season is so fantastic comparing the last season. But we did what we have done this season, but we started the last season. Yeah. A lot of things this year happened is because we started last season. But last season, why we didn't win? We were not good enough. So Chelsea was much better, Tottenham was much better, and the other teams were much better than us. And you have to accept it. So defeat and no win is part of the competition. So I am completely agree with the guys. For example, do you think Huddersfield was a bad season for them? Or Crystal Palace? It's like win the Premier League like Manchester City this season. We are talking about Tottenham made a bad season? I don't think so. So we're going to analyze who wins is your God, and you don't win, you are not. But many things we have done this season is because we start. Because sometimes it happened or suit perfectly on a few months. Sometimes you need more time. Yeah. And in this league, with the club, the players we had, because I need more time to convince the players, okay, you take longer, but it's not a problem.
When you had those doubts, which you had last season, did you think about a plan B or changing the way in which you'd play slightly?
Yeah, you can play with a plan, think a plan B, or try to improve the plan A. So plan B, what is more long balls or more? I don't know. Is plan B. Plan B doesn't matter. Okay, you play sometimes. Okay, with 3 in the back, or play with 2 strikers. Normally you don't play. You can use it. I have Aguero, Gabriel, 2 magnificent strikers. Sometimes I use 2 strikers. Yeah, but I believe more in and fight and try to improve the main idea.
Yeah.
The plan B is little details.
Yeah.
Because the plan B was defending deeper, or okay, you have the ball and I'm going to use more the counter-attack. No, that is not going to happen with us. No, no way.
What point last season did you realise that you weren't good enough, that you needed to improve in on? What was it early on, or was there a moment where you thought?
We started quite good in terms of result. The way we played some games, it was not good, but in terms of result, we in all competitions 10 games in a row winning. But after we won in White Lane against Tottenham, and the people say, okay, City is going to win, and we faced Tottenham from Mauricio Pochettino team, and I said how good they were. I said, wow, it's going to suffer. Even we're leading, so this season will be tough. But the people didn't think about Tottenham is going to win the league, and I suffer, or I live experience it for the first time away in White Lane against physicality, amazing team in the way they play, high pressing, a good build up. So I said to my friends, oh, will be tough the season here. And after we start to drop points. I think what I surprised the most in the season, before I came, so okay, at home we will be good, but away we'll have problems. Stoke City or West Bromwich Albion, typical English football when a year before I came here. But surprisingly, in both seasons away we were so good. Yeah. We won a lot of games away. And last season we had a lot of problems at home. We draw a lot of games and we're not able to be solid at home. But normally when you want to be champion, at home you have to be strong.
There was one game last season, I'll just show you this game. It was the first time that I thought, oh, this is different. I thought there was a change of emphasis. Right. I sensed that you were already thinking about next season when I watched this game against West Ham, and I thought this was a different level. It was something new. And you may remember, it's the first time that you played with this front five together. So I'll stop it here in a minute so you can... It's the first time that you picked in a Premier League game Sané, Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, and then De Bruyne and Silva in these positions. Was that something that you almost decided that then I have to start planning for next season? This is the way in which I'm going to go forward. And you started to change the team. Was it a moment that you felt as well? Or?
No, I think if you see the games of the last season, the patterns. So we use the counter-attack, but we don't play like a counter, like a main thing. Yeah. So we use the football, the actions to use the counter-attack. Yeah. But I think last season, because when you have Gabriel, Leroy and Raj with this quality to make 20 meters with ball, got the ball, and especially Kevin, you have to use it. But it's their quality. We are not talking about you're going to do that, and after when we're getting the ball, or when they lose the ball, we run. That, I think that's happened natural way. Because, of course, when we're getting the ball, the first moment is try to attack. Yeah. But after, with the pace from Leroy, Gabriel, especially, and Raj, so you have to use it. But it's for the natural conditions, what they have. But I think, believe me, what I feel, maybe I'm wrong, but the way we tried to play last season and this season is quite similar. The fundamentals, the more important part